What is going on, everyone? Mr. Nat5 here, coming at you with another Explaining Digimon episode. I find this one to be yet another very interesting episode because we're going to be talking about a Digimon that is rather less known than the ones I already covered. And here is the comment of the one that inspired me to make the video. Matt Farley wrote the following comment. I love how much work you put into these videos. Keep it up and don't stop. You go deep into these videos and that's what has me hooked up. I love videos like these, and there is so many like these for Pokemon, but because of that, Digimon is put on the back burner, which sucks cause Digimon is so amazing and has so much behind it. Can't wait for a Gazimon video. Well, first of all, thank you for this amazing comment. It's really an honor to receive such feedback. And it's yet another honor to know that there are others equally passionate about Digimon the way I am. We're going to try and work together on a Digimon renaissance. For that, it's important to share the videos. But Matt Farley talked about Gazimon, so Gazimon is going to be the one we're going to be discussing in this video. Gazimon is a mammal Digimon, one whose fur is grey everywhere with sharp claws. It is bipedal, which is rare amongst mammal types. In case you wouldn't know, bipedal is when an organism moves by means of its two rear limbs or legs. Somehow, when I look at its stature, you can see that it might still walk around with 4 limbs. That only reminds me of the process of evolution, which explains that an organism will adapt its way and even its body through time. There is a high chance that in an earlier life, Gazimon walked around with 4 limbs. I guess that the evolution process also explains why the claws on its forelegs likely evolved to allow its forelegs to be used as arms, therefore resulting in its bipedalism. Gazimon has an extremely aggressive temperament despite its small size, and it never warms up to humans. This probably explains why it belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers family, a group of Digimon having more than enough darkness hidden in their core DNA, which already gives a hint to its next Digivolution phase. Gazimon is a name derived from Gazi, which is the onomatopoeia for eating. Onomatopoeia is the process of creating a word that phonetically imitates, resembles, or suggests the sound that it describes. Tick-tack is an imitation of a clock. Gazi might for some sound as an imitation of someone eating. There is one more thing I'd like to add. It concerns Gazimon's genes. It would appear that some part of his genes are unknown, non-identified, meaning that under certain circumstances, it might digivolve into any kind of Digimon, as we are not sure what that unidentified code is. Gazimon, with his Nightmare Soldiers gene and the unknown part, can further digivolve into 2 different champion Digimons. The first Digivolution we're going to be talking about is Devidramon, also known and feared as the Many-Eyed Demon. It is a demon beast belonging to the Nightmare Soldiers family, summoned from the dark area by the Messenger of Darkness, Devimon. From the name, you can hear that Devidramon belongs to the Dramon species. To be worthy of being a member of the Dramon species, a Digimon needs to possess some dragon data in their Digicores. The way I see it, we can only assume that a Gazimon would digivolve in a Devidramon only if that unknown part of his genes contains more dragon data than anything else. You can't really see Gazimon in Devidramon. I imagine that the elongated arms might sort of give a hint that it might have been a Gazimon in the past, as Gazimon has these evolved arms after all. For a Dramon species Digimon, Devidramon's limbs are unusually developed, so it cuts the opponent to pieces with these claws. Its personality is the epitome of wickedness. If it glares with its 4 eyes burning in deep crimson, the opponent becomes unable to move and it will chop up their unresisting body. The tip of its tail is also able to open up and take on the shape of a claw, which can skewer the opponent. Devidramon, despite being of the Nightmare Soldiers family, also has an unknown side in its Digicore. That's why it can digivolve in 2 different Ultimate Digimons. A first Digivolution would be Cyberdramon, a cyborg and a Dragonman species Digimon, whose body is clad in a unique rubber armor, which enables him to endure attacks. With Cyberdramon, I believe that it's safe to assume that Gazimon and Devidramon would end up evolving into these Digimon if their unknown data has at least some cyber data hidden in it. As a Cyberdramon, it doesn't belong to the Nightmare Soldiers anymore, but rather to the Windgarden family, giving him the ability to fly, the Metal Empire, which explains why it has mixed with cyber parts, the nature spirits family, which explains why it looks like a generic animal slash monster Digimon, and at last it also belongs to the virus busters, the same family as Patamon and its Digivolution, and Gazimon and its Digivolution, which I already explained in 2 other videos. Those videos can be consulted by going to the Digimon conversation playlist. You would think that if the Digimon belongs to the virus busters that it would be good, but Cyberdramon is rather a lone warrior that isn't at all affiliated with the group. But it would appear that having those genes separates the Digimon from the Nightmare Soldiers family. Pay attention, belonging to the Nightmare Soldiers doesn't necessarily make the Digimon a bad one. Cyberdramon can further digivolve in Justimon, an android Digimon. It is a Digimon that never overlooks unjust acts or evil deeds. I believe that the Virus Busters genes is responsible for Cyberdramon digivolving to Justimon. Justimon can make its arm transform in 3 ways. It can change its arm to the power type called Axle Arm, it can make its arm transform into the Blitz type called Blitz Arm, or it can make its arm transform into the Cutter type called Critical Arm. 3 Digimons called Sujinmon, Reijinmon, and Fujinmon are equipped with 2 copies of each arm respectively. Who these 3 Digimons are should be discussed in another video. Let us get back to Devidramon. If we just assumed that in the unknown part of Devidramon's DNA contained the Virus Busters data, making it evolve to Digimons that are ultimately Digimons with good intentions, well, the unknown side of that unidentified DNA can also exist of negative data. That's why the second ultimate Digimon variation of Devidramon would be Mephistomon, a dark animal Digimon whose name is derived from the fictional Mephistopheles and whose design is derived from the mythological Baphomet. Mephistopheles is a demon featured in German folklore. Even though he appears as a worker for Lucifer, sources tell us that he does not search to corrupt men, but it comes to serve and ultimately collect the souls of those who are already damned. Baphomet is the name of a false god associated with Satanism and the occult. Modern representations of Baphomet picture it with a goat's head on a human body with both male and female traits. Mephistomon has, just like Baphomet, the appearance of a giant ram and is a dark being born from the lingering thought data of an BlackGarurumon that attempted to destroy all life. Mephistomon's governing principle is the extermination of all life. It specializes in the black magic of the dark species and its personality is endlessly cruel. However, it is extremely intelligent and is also a tactician. Obviously, it belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers family, but it belongs to another family called the Dark Area family. Not a big family, but they are generally evil or apocalyptic Digimons. The kind of Digimons that are already very dangerous and very powerful with the few numbers of its members. Patamon has a relation with the Dark Area family and also Gazimon. If you haven't checked those videos, go to the playlist of Digimon Conversation. Despite the fact that Mephistomon is already a dangerous Digimon, it can further digivolve into Gulfmon, a dark animal Digimon whose name and design are derived from the mythological Abyss, a bottomless pit that leads to hell, and Hellmouth, a gaping mouth of a huge monster. Gulfmon is largely built and has the body of a demon beast, as immense as a mountain and possesses sturdy limbs. Attached to its lower half is the famous Hellmouth, large enough to swallow everything. That mouth is connected to the abyss of the dark area, and it's said that those who are sucked in have their souls smashed to pieces and are no longer able to escape. It is said that Gulfmon's power is enough to destroy the world in 7 days. Is it a coincidence that in the Bible story, God needed 7 days to create the world, and that this Digimon can use as much time to destroy it? Let's get back to Gazimon and see the second branch of its Digivolution line. Gazimon can digivolve in BlackGarurumon, a variant of the Garurumon species belonging to the Nightmare Soldiers and Nature Spirits family. It is a giant beast resembling a wolf. Its name is derived from Black and Garuru, and Garuru is the onomatopoeia for a wolf's growl. Based on Devidramon and BlackGarurumon, I think that it's safe to assume that the unknown part of Gazimon's DNA can either contain dragon genes or nature spirits genes, and that will make it digivolve in an animal or monster-like Digimon. BlackGarurumon can further digivolve into Shadow WereGarurumon, a bipedal version of BlackGarurumon taking cues from the werewolf, which is a wolf-human hybrid. It did lose its speed in comparison to Garurumon, but became a commando-type Digimon with stronger offensive and defensive power, as well as a developed tactical nature. Shadow WereGarurumon has two other Mega Digivolutions, depending not only on the genes but also on the circumstances that made it evolve. First of all, it can transform into Black Metal Garurumon, an android Digimon. It has concealed many pulverizing weapons throughout its body, whose number is rivaled by those of Mega Gargomon, the high-temperature counterpart to the low-temperature Metal Garurumon. There is a thing I thought, and even though it hasn't been stated anywhere, considering some Digivolutions of Gazimon, like Cyberdramon, a cybernetic Digimon, it might also be that some of the genes of Gazimon has data from the Metal Empire, allowing it to transform into Metal Garurumon. But that would only happen if there is sufficient data. But at the same time, don't forget, it's not because a species have a mega form that it will digivolve to it. To further digivolve, it would ask either training or circumstances allowing the ultimate version to go beyond. WereGarurumon can, aside of digivolving to Metal Garurumon, also digivolve into BanchoLeomon, a Beastman Digimon. And this Digimon is a very interesting one. I will definitely do more research on it in a future video. It is said that only Digimon who continue to emerge victorious in battles without their spirit being broken are able to acquire the title of Bancho. This means that the Digimon evolving to BanchoLeomon must have displayed impressive feats. In the recorded history of the digital world, only 5 Digimons possessing this title have been confirmed. I would be very happy to also talk about them in another video. My opinion, it's very impressive how many elite groups there exist in the digital world. You have the Royal Knights, you have a group of evil Digimon in the Dark Area, the Celestial Digimons also form a group, and here we have elite Digimons earning the rank of Bancho. As BanchoLeomon is a boss that only serves its own justice, if something becomes an obstacle to that justice, it will see them as evil, even if they are being like the Royal Knights or the Celestial Digimon. It's very impressive that BanchoLeomon isn't afraid to even face the Royal Knights. And by the way, the Gakuran worn off its shoulders is endowed with a defensive function that negates 89.9% of the opponent's physical strikes. So he is a very powerful being. But to reach the level of a Bancho is close to impossible because you need to consider numerous contexts. First of all, Gazimon has a gene problem. If the genes do not allow him to evolve into BlackGarurumon, then that's about it. Secondly, as a Shadow WereGarurumon, based on my assumption that it may or may not have many metal data in its genes, it would high probably transform into Black Metal Garurumon, at least if it is able to reach the mega level. Because you cannot forget, digivolving isn't at all very easy. In the video I made about VEEMON's Armor Digivolution, I explained that in a life in the past, Digimons had to use the eggs in order to digivolve. Now it has been made easier, but that does not mean that it is way easier. Thirdly, it would ask a bunch of training and fighting and experience for a Shadow WereGarurumon to digivolve into BanchoLeomon. If there is more metal in the genes, then reaching the BanchoLeomon form is impossible. And you must not forget, my friends, BanchoLeomon is so powerful that it wouldn't be afraid to face the Royal Knights. That explains that BanchoLeomon is a very high level Digimon, and only a select few are able of reaching high levels. And on top of that, BanchoLeomon can also further digivolve if that BanchoLeomon is capable of acquiring even more experience, train more, get stronger. If all of that is correct, it can further digivolve into Marsmon, a god Digimon, member of the Olympus 12, a group of 12 mega level god Digimons modeled after the Roman version of the 12 Olympians. But reaching that level is even closer to impossible. We're going to be talking about the Olympus 12 in another video, because I'd love to compare them to the other groups. I will also make a separate video about the Bancho group of 5 that has BanchoLeomon as one of its members. I know I said that Gazimon has 2 Digivolve lines, and yet there is another form, a third form that I can't really consider as a third form, but that I will mention nonetheless. Gazimon, under well-defined circumstances, can digivolve in another champion Digimon aside of Devidramon and BlackGarurumon called Deltaamon, a composition and yet very mysterious Digimon. Nothing is known about the genes of this Digimon. It isn't known if it belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers family or Metal Empire. All we know is that it was fused from 3 Digimons. That's why it's called Deltaamon. The delta is a reference to the delta symbol, which is a triangle. The way Deltaamon is composed, although each of these heads had existed as separate Digimon, due to a computer running wild after it was struck by a storm's electromagnetic waves, they were forced to fuse by a computer bug. Meaning that this Digimon wasn't meant to be, it's an error. That's why you probably won't see more Deltaamons around. I went looking for these 3 Digimon that form Deltaamon, but there is nothing that has been told, which makes everything more difficult as I'm also trying to identify the unknown part of Gazimon's DNA. Those 3 separate Digimons might have given us a better clue, but I guess that we would have to simply analyze its stature and speculate. The left head, as it is a skull, I guess it might be more plausible to believe that it's the head of a Skullgreymon or maybe even the head of an Airdramon. The right hand looks to me like the one of a Megasidramon, I guess, because it is covered in metal after all, and the way the right head shows its tongue reminds me of a snake-like Digimon, hence Megasidramon. When it comes to the body, that's where I'm left with even more question marks. To me, it would seem more plausible that the Devidramon was amongst a Megasidramon and a Skullgreymon or an Airdramon, and they were forced to fuse. Because in the end, we're still talking about a Gazimon Digivolve line, and from what we can tell based on previous Digivolution, Gazimon has some dragon parts in his genes. If it fused with 2 other dragon Digimon, it would only make sense that it would look more like a dragon or at least a dinosaur. But at this point, I'm only speculating. Digimon has many mysteries. You are free to leave your thoughts down below if you think you know who those separate Digimons might have been. Each head has its own mind, meaning that they are able to think independently. This only proves that the fusion is an error, because if you take a look at Omnimon, who is the fused form of MetalGarurumon and WarGreymon, despite having 3 heads just like Deltaamon, the 2 other heads on its left and right arm don't move, don't think independently. Deltaamon is an error fusion and became 3 Digimons in one body. Deltaamon can further digivolve into Chimeramon, another composition Digimon with more different Digimon parts coming together on one body. How this kind of synthesis was performed is shrouded in mysteries, but it would appear that it fused once more, but with many other Digimon. It has the head of Kabuterimon, the eyes and hair of MetalGreymon, the body and lower jaw of Greymon, the wings of Airdramon, the top wings of Angemon, the arms of Devimon, the left arm of Kuwagamon, the right arm of Skullgreymon, the legs of Garurumon, and the tail of a Monochromon. We're not talking about crossbreeding, but rather of a forced fusion or a forced synthesis by someone or something. This Digimon has indirectly a link with Machinedramon, because Machinedramon is also a synthesis Digimon, having parts that were copied from other Digimons. It might be that Chimeramon was Machinedramon's prototype, or maybe it was built to use against Machinedramon, as this dark cyborg Digimon is said to be a very, very terrifying one, and it belongs to the strongest dark Digimon. We're going to be talking about Machinedramon in another video, because I'd like to explain what part of which Digimon it has. One thing is sure, Chimeramon, as it was fused artificially, it became nothing more than a powerful force of destruction, which explains why it belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers family. Whoa, this is the end of the video. I'm sorry if it took too long, my friends. I like to overanalyze everything, and sometimes it might be that I'm going too far and forget the time. Matt Farley, my research didn't really give me information of Gazimon being able to transform into Tyrannomon. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. You can always leave your sources down below, that way I'll check it out myself. In case you guys are new, you can always check my other Digimon videos by going to my Digimon playlist. Every video is sorted out That way you can simply catch up on older videos. If you want me to cover another Digimon or something from Digimon, leave a comment down below.